A lot going on with the United States and Iran. President Trump reversing his plan a bit on the idea of a 20% toll on ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for providing, quote, safety and security. He says he wants to be the guardian of free transit in the Strait. And here he is explaining where he is today on that issue. Watch.
I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs, and they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars. We would like to invest tremendously in the United States as opposed to charging a fee. And I like that, actually, because I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the Strait.
Okay. With that, we bring in Brit Hume, Fox News chief political analyst. Brit, it's great to have you with us, as always. And I do want to get your thoughts on what the president said there. But first, I would like to ask you a little bit about Senator Lindsey Graham and what we just witnessed, the swearing in of Darline Graham, his sister. And one of the issues that she's going to be dealing with is this Russia sanctions bill. And here's President Trump on that. And then want to get your thoughts on the swearing in after we hear this.
Well, I know that Lindsey wanted it very badly. I think they may be adding Iran to it. They're going to add Iran, which is a very big thing if they did that. They may add Hezbollah, too. Just put them if you do business with Hezbollah. So we're looking at that, but they're seriously thinking, and this is in honor of Lindsey. This was his thing. He wanted this more than any other thing.
Thoughts on all that, Britt?
Well, I think there's some momentum behind the bill, and that Lindsey Graham's death may well have added to that. The bill has some bipartisan support. And you could see that in the group of senators that was arrayed in the event they had to honor Lindsey Graham. Senators of both parties there gathered. So that's a sign for it. I think you have to be careful with a bill like this, that you don't load it up with so much extra stuff that you build opposition to it, which happens sometimes. Sometimes you add things and it helps, and sometimes you add things and it doesn't. So, but it's something to keep an eye on, and it may well, certainly it adds momentum in the Republican caucus in the Senate, and one imagines perhaps on the Democratic side as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a scene we just saw moments ago that none of us expected to be witnessing this week, and that's Senator Graham's sister stepping into his role in the United States Senate, Brett.
Well, that's right, and it's nice to see senators behaving themselves in the way that senators used to do more often in the old days before we entered this particularly contentious era. But, you know, I wouldn't get too carried away with the effect of that and her potential influence, because in the end, these senators are going to vote the way they think it is in their interest to do so, and in keeping with what they believe about all this. And her presence in the chamber, I don't think it's going to change a lot of minds.
You know, I want to ask you about this issue of the toll. I think, you know, when I heard President Trump say this yesterday, then we saw the Iranian leadership response saying, we'll only charge 15%. We want to be fair. It felt even at that point, just observing it, that this was not maybe something that was going to actually happen, that the United States wasn't going to be charging tolls to go through the Strait, but that it was sort of a bit of tit for tat that we saw play out, which sometimes happens. But President Trump's in a tricky spot here as he returns to the blockade, you know, returns to a lot of kinetic action in the Strait. Something he didn't want to do just a few weeks ago as he looks towards the midterms.
Well, Martha, when all is said and done here, when the case is being made for and against what he did here, the critics are going to cite the cost of it, which has been considerable. And I think, you know, obviously he'd love to get reimbursed for some of it. And now that we're now going to mount the blockade again, and we're carrying out major military operations, maybe not the most major, but certainly more than we were doing. And that's going to add to the cost as well. And that will be part of the case against it. The cost in lives has been, militarily speaking at least, extraordinarily minor. Everyone is regrettable, of course, every casualty. But the cost in dollars at a time when the national debt is exploding, or has been, is serious. And you know, if he gets a good outcome here, people may well say it's worth it. If it's less than conclusive, however, people will look at the cost and say, was it worth it? That's something that's obviously on his mind.
Yeah, 100%. Brett, thank you very much. We'll see you soon, Brett.
You bet. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you. Thank you. Brit Hume.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.